Good morning, Indy.
Morning, John.
We're here in Pattaya at the moment.
We are indeed, yeah.
And by the pool. And what we're going to discuss on today's video is what would be the differences between perhaps living in Phuket, Patong Beach,
Or Pattaya. So,
Yeah.
let's get right into it.
When you're considering where you're going to live in Thailand, between two cities, maybe Phuket or Patong and Pattaya, there's a few things to consider. Say the first of those would be whether or not you've got quite a strong mind. So I think in either place you could kind of go astray somewhat very quickly. Okay, in Pattaya you've got these condos, and there's lots of these condos. They're beautiful. You can get rooms from up for £200 to £300 a month up, all to the penthouses. They've got pools in the complex, gyms, beautiful places to live. There's another one over there in the distance. You can live like that, or you could live very cheap, maybe a little townhouse for £150 a month, something like that. Now, as I said, Pattaya has the beach, which is nice. If you're in Britain, you'd be pleased with that beach. But as Thai beaches go, it's not the best. But the rest of the city is not that green. It is a kind of big city with a city feel. It's not as hot and humid as Bangkok, but Phuket does feel a lot more green, and you get out of Patong Beach and you've got immediately nice roads, driving through palm trees and stuff like that. This is Pattaya at about 11 o'clock in the morning. As you can see, it's already a fair amount of traffic around. Prices are cheaper in Pattaya, definitely, for everything. If it's bars you want, you've got unlimited bars, unlimited entertainment. But what I would say is the bars are mostly orientated towards one thing. There's hundreds and hundreds of bands, but finding a good one that plays anything different than the usual kind of zombie, bit of Thai music, all the usual classics that you hear in Thailand all the time, you're gonna struggle. Okay, it does take a bit of hunting down, although there are some very good bands. In Pattaya there's actually lots more selection of places to eat. That's not to say that Phuket doesn't. Okay, but the dining options are huge. Okay, you can get really cheap Western food. You can pay for really expensive Western food, all of different qualities, so you can get exactly what you want really. You can get Indian food, Japanese food over there. Transport around the town is really easy. Phuket, unless you've got your own transport, you've obviously got the taxi mafia, makes travelling around a lot harder. Here motorbike taxis can go places for 40 baht a time, 20 baht a time. There's also the pickups, BART buses, what they call, and they're really cheap. Feel Phuket's got a much older feel to it. If you go to Phuket, it's more of an international vibe. In that, people are there for holidays. Yes, there is the Patong Beach, Soy Bangna, but there's a lot else besides, and this time there was Russians, Italians, but all ages, much more family orientated, although you have got your nightlife and plenty of it. So I think one of these things to consider in Pattaya, it's got everything you want, but to be honest, the Falangs here, the Westerners, are quite old. A lot of them are of older age group, and you don't see many Western women, but then maybe that's what you want to get away from. Yeah, everything is easy to do in Pattaya, absolutely everything. But it's also easy to get out of control. And monetary drinking is quite hard to stay in. I know people here that never go to the beach, never do anything but sleep and go to the bars. Yeah, it's an interesting city, but a complete contrast to Phuket, which feels more green and more open and more fresh. Yeah, another form of transport is the BART bus, which they drive around routes around Pattaya. Don't ask me what routes, but they were 5 and 10 baht. They're not that much. They're a bit more now, but it's a good way to get about. Just sit inside seats, you just climb on board, and then you ring when you want to get off. There's another one coming along now. Yeah, good form of transport, really, as you can see. People would think that it's not really a place for families, but Indy really loved it at Pattaya. Lots of things to do, water parks, zoos, loads of places to eat, cinemas. So it is actually quite a family geared place if that's what you want. Obviously, you have got the bar element, which some people might say is not a good overview for kids. But yeah, overall it's good for families. Indy especially loved the go-kart track. But there's like arcades, there's trips out. You can go to Koh Lan, which we'll see a video of in a minute. Koh Lan's the island off of Pattaya. You've got Pattaya Beach, which obviously kids will love, splashing around in the sea and in sand. And Koh Lan's a bit of an adventure. Well, it might not have the brilliant beaches and be quite as at the paradise that the Phuket beaches are. It's still a nice place to go with your family. So it was nice to get out of Pattaya and go on a 35 or 40 minute boat trip over to Koh Lan on these lovely old fishing boats. Nice kind of day out, cheap enough, about 40 baht each way, so it's a good place to go with kids. So it's really quite a nice place for families, really, despite the sleazy element. And then you've got your shopping centres or shopping malls. There's absolutely loads of shopping malls in Pattaya, and I would say this beats Phuket hands down, although there is this kind of thing all over Phuket, not on the scale of Pattaya. This is Terminal 21, but you've got Big C's, you've got Central Festival, lots of things to do inside, restaurants, cinemas, unlimited shops and shopping opportunities. India actually loved the shopping. Okay, you can browse for hours, so if that's your thing, it's great. And what can you say? The nightlife in Pattaya is extensive. There's just so much of it. Everywhere you go, there's bars and discos, clubs. So the entertainment is definitely on a higher level in Pattaya, but a lot of it is quite the same. And you've got your go-go bars, beer bars and this kind of thing, but much of it just is the same old thing. When there's enough there that you can go to a different area every night for weeks and weeks and weeks. But it's the same thing, a lot of the bands sound exactly the same. And it's not as accessible if you've got a younger lad with you. If you've got a family, there's not really any pubs to take them where I suppose you can go to the Pattaya Beer Garden, which is nice, to have a nice dinner there. It's not sleazy at all. There is places to go with younger people, but a lot of the bars are based around the whole. And then you have your beaches. Obviously Pattaya's got its beaches, and there's some nice ones too. Compared to the British beaches, most of them, apart from those in Cornwall, Northumbria and Scotland, they're amazing, but they're not quite up to the standard of Phuket. You can still have a nice day out there, you can still enjoy yourself, but it's just not as extensive, there's not as much choice, and it's definitely not as clear water, but it's still nice after all. And then when you compare them to what's coming next, you will see what I mean. So this is Lam Sing Beach in Phuket. It's not really that far from Patong, probably 20 minutes on a motorbike, but look at it, absolutely beautiful. And this is just one of so many beaches. You've got Karen Beach, you've got Qatar Beach. The list is endless, really. Today we're in Ak Rawai seafood restaurant. There's so many beaches to choose from, all the different seascapes, it's a really nice little location, and the water's crystal clear, absolutely beautiful. And I actually feel it's a much nicer area to live, nicer climate than Pattaya, fresher air. Although traffic can get quite busy, it is beautiful. The tourists are much more multinational. Although you get Chinese and Russian tourists in Pattaya, here you get Russians, Europeans, it's men and women of all different ages, families, and you've got what you want there really. And then there's the wonderful roads to just ride round on, absolutely beautiful. Obviously it shouldn't be what I'm doing here, riding without no top on. I don't know what I was thinking of on that day, but as you can see I had a big smile on my face anyway. Absolutely lovely place. Once you get out of the major towns like Patong, Phuket town, and places like that, the roads are mostly traffic free. It's actually beautiful just to drive around through the kind of jungles, if that's what you call them, rainforest areas. There's loads to see, loads of animals, lovely foliage, plants. Yeah, and you can hire your bikes cheap. It's a really nice place to get around. There's lots of different areas in Phuket. It's probably a nicer environment to bring up kids, I would imagine. There's quite a lot of international schools there for you to go if you need to send your kids to school. I'd say Pattaya, you'd probably be comfortable if you're an adult on your own. And Phuket may be a nicer place to bring up your kids. One thing that is better in Pattaya would be the climate, definitely. I stayed in Patong before for over a year and it rains endlessly. It seems to rain much more there than here in Britain. So if you don't like rain, maybe Pattaya is the place to go. Obviously you pay your money, you take your choice in the end and you choose what you want. If you like getting out of town quickly, more rural spaces, I suppose Phuket would be the place for you. As I mentioned earlier in the video, it's a much more expensive place to live in. As you can see, like Pattaya, Phuket still has a lot of nightlife. Here's Patong Beach and Soy Bangla, place famous, lots of go-go bars, more go-go bars than there used to be, not on the scale of Pattaya. A lot of open-fronted bars with girls dancing and stuff like that. There's lots of bars with bands. But I would actually say as a whole, the nightlife in Phuket would probably become limited far quicker. I actually found when I lived there wasn't such a selection of Western food as in Pattaya, and even Thai food at decent prices. Everything is much more expensive in Phuket. Transport, taxis, whatever you name it, it is. There's also lots of things to do for kids, lots of theme parks. This one's Endam Water Park, but it's just one of many. So it would be a nice place to get your family and to live there with your family, I think. Plenty of things to do at the weekend. I don't think you get bored of that. It's also got shopping centres, malls and stuff like that. Anyway, I'm going to end this video here because the last thing you want to do is see me looking like a whale. But in conclusion, where would I choose to live? As a single guy or an older couple, maybe Pattaya. Maybe Pattaya is better for many reasons. Cheaper, easier to kind of get around small distances, got everything you need and lots of fun to be had. But maybe being in a family like I am with Indy, I think Phuket would be a far nicer environment to bring him up, if not a little bit more expensive. And I hope this has helped you gather your thoughts of where you'd like to live and give you a bit of an insight. Please like and subscribe, watch our other videos. Have a great day.